Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we take out a second mortgage for a down payment on the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Anniversary Edition. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including an opening date for Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios in Hollywood. And then on Thursday, we're bringing you a special episode from our favorite remote mountain getaway. But Mark, in the meantime, how's it going?
It's going great. Patrick, I got a haircut over the weekend.
Very nice.
Oh, thank you. So you know when you get your hair like shampooed or washed at a barber,
Yeah.
and it's like those sinks with a lip,
Yeah.
and they always tell you,
Where do they get those sinks?
we're not going there.
Oh, all right. This is not the premise that you were setting up. Okay.
You know when they tell you that like let me know when you're comfortable.
Right.
I have never
Felt comfortable
felt
in that
comfortable.
scenario?
And I don't know. And so I think the problem is that I would need somebody to like set me perfectly one time so I know what position my body's supposed to be in.
I mean, this
And
is
then I can reproduce it.
this
Like I
is-
need an expert. I
Right,
need
right.
somebody to be like, this is what you should do. Because otherwise,
right. Well, okay. So, I recently had a root canal, right? And my dentist would ask me, like, before, as we were like trying to figure out how to treat what was happening in my mouth, she would say, "Are you in much pain?" And I'd be like, "I'm in some pain." Like, I don't know. I need someone to be like, "Bam, that's much pain," and then I have a point of reference. Because, like, as it stands, I'm not sure I have a solid base of, like, how I should feel, either pain or comfort in any scenario.
exactly. It's like, well, compared to what?
Compared to what?
Like how
Compared to
comfortable?
what?
How comfortable am I
Yes.
supposed to be at this hair washing sink?
Right. You're out of your house. You're wearing hard pants, like shoes. How comfortable could you possibly be?
Yeah. I mean, and look,
Yeah.
maybe if I was wearing soft pants to the
You
barber
know
shop,
exactly what I mean. Though.
I wasn't denigrating the designation of hard pants and
pants,
soft pants.
right.
I know exactly what you mean. But I feel like I just like I don't know if comfort is possible. And so I lie all the time, right? I'm just
Right.
like, "Oh, this is comfortable because it's like I guess this is fine. Like how long am I going to be here?"
Yeah, I mean, I feel how long is this gonna take? I feel the same way in like not that I've had one in over a decade, but like in a massage situation, like I'm simply not ever going to be comfortable, and I'm a ticklish man. I'm easily tickled. Please don't use that against me, Mark. That goes for you. This goes for everyone.
I know that is
Please-
bold of you to put it out there.
Please don't use that
Yeah.
against me. But like, yeah, like I'm gonna get touched somewhere and have like a little giggle reaction. And I'm not gonna be comfortable. It's supposed to be relaxing. It's gonna freak me out a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, this was good because I think we've discovered that it's like I don't know if they actually want you to be like it doesn't matter.
Right. Really, I think what they're asking is, are you gonna complain?
No, that's on. You're totally right. That is so what it is. Where it's just like your call.
Yep.
If you want me to change something, it's in your hands.
Do it now, because
Uh-huh.
I will not tolerate complaining later. Speaking about not tolerating complaining later, borrowing my copy of Sonic Forces for the Nintendo Switch. Would you like to? All you gotta do is email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com and give us a mailing address where we can send you my copy of Sonic Forces for the Nintendo Switch. You play it for as long as you want. You send it back. I have paid for postage both ways. It is the perfect borrowing program, with the following exception, which is not an exception. It's just further part of what makes it perfect. There may be a copy of Untitled Goose Game in the copy of Sonic Forces. So you just play that instead, or not play it instead. Whatever you want to do, it's totally up to you.
Also, we wanted to give a huge thank you to Garrett for leaving us a review on Spotify.
These thank yous are so big. Let's call them big ups.
They're big. These are big ups.
We're giving big ups.
To Garrett for leaving us a 5-star review on Spotify, and J88 Fitness for leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, thank you so much, gentlemen. We've stopped soliciting reviews, but we appreciate it all the more not all the more. Like we appreciate it when you do
absolutely. Yeah. So thank you so much to both of you for leaving us a review.
All right, Mark, let's get into what we've been playing this week.
So I picked this up weeks ago on sale, but never actually started it. It's Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. And I've had it was on my wish list for a long time because it kind of has a reputation as being similar to Tropical Freeze. Like, oh, if you like Tropical Freeze, you'll really like Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. I never played the original Yooka-Laylee that was more like a 3D collectathon in the vein of Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie-like, yes.
Yeah.
Did you pick it up as part of the like $4.99 sale?
I can't remember how much it was. It might have been. I feel like it was like somewhere between $5 and $10 is what I paid for this.
Currently, both Yooka-Laylee games are part of a like indie game sale that they're like $4.99.
Oh, this was like a couple of months ago that I bought it.
All right.
Yeah, but I just hadn't started it. But I've been in the mood for kind of just like comfort, not really comfort food, but just like a platformer, just something that I can like just get into and enjoy.
Right.
And at this point, I think I would enjoy Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, but I'm really holding out for that digital to like get dirt cheap.
Get so low.
Exactly. At this point. So started Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. I am not that far into it. I am maybe 5 or 6 levels in. And it's interesting. I would not say that I'm like immediately didn't immediately click for me. Because the platform is, I would say, like momentum based a little bit, like not like Sonic, but you know, I'd never played a Sonic game before, and then when Sonic Mania came out, it took me a while to get used to it, and so I'm trying to give that same sort of time to Yooka-Laylee, because it's kind of cool. Like you press Y to roll, and you can like roll multiple times, and your momentum increases, and so that can increase like your the length you can jump and all that kind of stuff. But it's just taken me a little bit to get used to that, to like really get into the rhythm of it.
Yeah.
But one thing that is interesting is these are some developers from like that used to be at Rare, right? Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
So they continue the kind of ugly character design
they do
that
have
Rare
that,
is known for.
That very English character design. Yes.
Oh, first of all, like the bad guy in this just looks like Gru from.
But he's like a bee,
Me.
right?
He's like a bee. Yeah.
Bee Gru.
And then, but yeah, there's like other characters. Like there's this like thing that gives you potions.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like a mix between the wardrobe from Beauty and the Beast and like that putt-putt car from early CD-ROM games.
Sure, okay.
And nobody wants that.
Or from like those Chevron commercials where like the
Yeah,
car is
exactly.
made of clay. Yeah.
Like it just doesn't appeal to me. But the game does do some interesting things. Like I just encountered for the first time, you go through a level and then you're kind of, because you in order to get into levels, you open these like storybook types things and then go into them, and then there's this kind of like isometric view, like 3D-ish overworld that you explore in. So, you know, I ran into a dead end where I just did the level and there was nowhere for me to go, and so the tutorial's kind of like, oh, take this frozen berry and put it on the book, and so it now becomes like a frozen level instead of a kind of water level
cool.
from before. Yeah, so it does some interesting things. Like there's a lot to like about it. I just feel like I haven't gotten to the point in the platforming where I'm like super enjoying the platforming. But also I remember when we played Tropical Freeze for the first time, that first like just regular jungle level is kind of meh. It's not until you get into the second like world that it really starts showing how good it is. And so I feel like I still need to give more time to it. But yeah, it's been interesting to try it after all of just hearing about it all this time.
Have you attempted the impossible layer itself yet?
So you have to as part of kind of like the
Oh.
beginning, but you are definitely like doomed to fail. You just don't have the tools to be successful at this point. Because, sorry, another interesting thing, I talked about the horrifying potion person or thing, but I kind of like the potion mechanic, which is that you are, collecting, I can't remember what they call them. They look like feathers or like quills, ghost quills. That's what they are. And so you're collecting them, and that's kind of the currency of the game. And, you find potions in the overworld, and the potions give you certain like power-ups or just different like abilities, and then before you go into a level you can equip up to 3 of them, and so you can kind of choose what you want your strength to be going into this level and all that kind of stuff, and it affects how many like
Interesting.
bonus quills you get. So it is like there's a lot going on. It seems really interesting. I just have not found the actual platforming mechanics itself have not like clicked for me yet.
Sure. Do you feel like you have a grasp on that sort of like loadout stuff? Like before you go in, do you think you have like an idea of how to make your experience in one level better, or do you think you still need to experiment with it a little bit
There
before?
are like at least it seems like there's like 100 different potions, and I've maybe unlocked 3 of them. So
Hmm.
there's so much more, for me to get into. But so I think I'm just barely scratching the surface. So I think the answer to your question is no. But it seems like if you really like were diligent about collecting potions and were very like knew what your goal was going into a level, that you could potentially build a loadout that's like ideal.
Yeah, it's so interesting to like actually get to the point where you understand all the systems of a game. Like I remember thinking about that while playing, even something as like simple as Cuphead, where like there are different weapons and then like different charms that you can equip to sort of like change, exactly what it is, where you have an advantage in this boss fight. But like, the first like couple hours that you're playing it, you're just trying to wrap your head around what's happening moment to moment and not like the sort of meta game around it, but like discovering and really engaging with those things. Like that's when you're like really grooving with a game.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's always hard when you're starting like a new game in a new like franchise you've never experienced before to like do the work to get to that point, instead of just what I'm trying to prevent is just being like, "Oh, I wasn't immediately amazing at this. So I'm just going to drop it and go back to like Super Mario World, which I played like a million times."
Right. This isn't the clarinet in 5th grade. Like,
Right.
You got to stick with this if you
Yeah.
want to see some returns.
Exactly.
Well, that's great. You're not sure if you would recommend it at this point?
I think
but
I'm way too early.
way too early. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just way too early.
Mark, I think we've both also been playing Tetris 99 this last weekend. Of course, there was a Tetris Maximus Cup, the 31st Tetris Maximus Cup, with the Kirby's Dream Buffet theme kind of baked into it. I was traveling this weekend, so you did send me a text to say, don't forget, you got to get this theme. Mark, I was already on the case.
I should have known. I should have doubted.
Should have known. Were you successful in getting this theme?
I was, yes. And I think we talked about it when this was announced. There are already so many Kirby themes for Tetris Max.
4 of them.
Tetris 99. But man, Kirby has good music.
Kirby has good music. I like the arrangements for this music a lot. It was mentioned in our Discord, but it was also something that Sarah said when she walked into the room, where she was like, "Oh, it's like a ska version of Kirby," which it is. And I couldn't be any happier than to have a ska version of Kirby playing while I play Tetris. It was great. I was not able to secure a number 1 finish this weekend, and I put in like, especially on Sunday, Sarah and I both played a lot. And the highest I got was 2nd. And I think I got that 3 times, but could not pull off a first place finish.
It usually takes me a while I would say generally it takes me about an hour to get the theme, because I vacillate between like getting into the top 20 and then like getting decimated at number 89. Right. You know what I mean?
Which gives you no points.
Exactly. So yeah. But I feel like for me, if I can do it in an hour, I'm feeling good
Yeah,
about my
feeling
progress.
good. Did you enjoy your time playing?
Yeah, I can't remember. The last time I did it was probably the last Tetris Maximus
Yeah,
Cup,
like
which was
back in
a long
April?
time
Yeah.
ago. So, it was fun to get back into it.
It makes me hopeful that they're gonna just continue to make these things.
Yeah.
Mark, you have a curious item listed here on our what we've been playing.
Well, so you and I talked, I think maybe it was even last week, about it's so crazy that Fire Emblem Engage is about 1 month away,
Yeah.
almost maybe exactly from being released. And I feel like I know so little about it. And I got a marketing survey from Nintendo just like a couple of days ago that was asking me about Fire Emblem Engage. And I just thought it was I don't know if they're like trying to figure out the right message for it or how
Yeah.
to like market it or anything like that. But so basically, the way the survey worked was at the beginning, it asked me all these different like franchises and if I had played them regularly before. And Fire Emblem was one of them. And then, a couple of questions in, it asked me which Fire Emblem games had you played a lot of, and I said Fire Emblem Three Houses. Then it asked me, have you heard of Fire Emblem Engage? And I said yes. How much have you heard? Like, how much do you know about it? And I said,
Yeah.
like, a
Not-
little bit,
yeah,
like, not
that
very much.
Yeah.
So then they asked me 3 different, like, marketing kind of, like, messages, explanations for Fire Emblem Engage, and for me to, like, rank if I liked or disliked it. So let me read the 3 to you.
Oh, I love this.
Okay, so first one. Reawaken as the Divine Dragon and take down an ancient threat in Fire Emblem Engage. Team up with iconic heroes from past Fire Emblem games in this new RPG. And I said this one, they asked, did you like or dislike the text above? And I said, I am not really sure.
Yeah.
Like, kind of indifferent to it. The second one is take on turn-based tactical combat and use emblem rings to customize your strategy. Wield the rings this January in Fire Emblem Engage. And I said, I don't like this one at all.
No, that's bad. That's bad copy.
And then the third one was reawaken as the Divine Dragon and take down an ancient threat this January in Fire Emblem Engage. Take on turn-based tactical combat and use emblem rings to customize your strategy. And I said this one, like, I like it a bit.
Yeah. I think I'm in line with all of those, with all of that assessment.
Because at the end they asked, like, what, like, here are the 3 again.
Like, what would make you happy?
Wait, well, they're like, here are the 3 again. Which one is your favorite? And none of these sound interesting was an option.
Right.
And that's the one, that is what I chose. And then they asked why I chose that. And what I said is that, so the first one, reawaken as the Divine Dragon and take down an ancient threat in Fire Emblem Engage. Team up with iconic heroes from past Fire Emblem games in this new RPG. I said that one, like, I don't know past Fire Emblem heroes that well, so it makes me feel like, oh, is this game for me? Like, will I not appreciate it because I don't have that much familiarity with these characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that was such a strength of Three Houses, was it didn't matter if you knew other Fire Emblem games, right? It had like hooks of its own.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's where it's really lacking is in that initial pitch of like awaken as the ancient, what is it?
Divine Dragon, yeah, reawaken as the Divine
Dragon, because I don't know what that means. And like the Divine Dragon, I just feel like that's grandiose to the point of meaninglessness.
Well, and that's what I said about the second and third one, the take on turn-based tactical combat and use emblem rings to customize your strategy. And then reawaken as the Divine Dragon and take down an ancient threat this January in Fire Emblem Engage, where it's just like, this sounds like it could be any game ever. Like, there's nothing specific in here that makes me be like, oh, that sounds interesting or unique or I want to play that. And that basically sums up my where I'm at with Fire Emblem Engage right now. If I had not played Three Houses and really liked Three Houses, this game would be doing nothing for me because it just seems so generic. I just feel like Fire Emblem, to me, kind of has this snake eating its own tail thing going on, where it's like, what is in here for people who are not already fans of Fire Emblem?
Yeah. And Three Houses was able to do that really well because the pitch is so clean and so easy of like it's a school, it's Harry Potter but Fire Emblem,
Exactly, yeah.
but also a little bit Game of Thrones, because there's this like intrigue and stealing of ancient houses and stuff like that. But like that's really what they should be leaning into is like the Game of Thrones element of it, right? The high drama, the high like monarchs. What am I saying here? Like the sort of like regal intrigue,
Right.
because that's what all those games end up being about anyway. I've noticed that a lot of the marketing that I've been seeing for it lately is revealing other emblems that you can summon. Emblems or
Yeah, I think that's right.
whatever they're calling them, which like is cool. I'm seeing characters that I know and characters that I like, but I'm also seeing characters that I've never seen before because a lot of these games never came were released outside of Japan. So like there's a lot of like even for someone who considers themselves a fan of Fire Emblem, like I've still only played like 4 Fire Emblem games, but that represents like 500 hours of gameplay, right?
Right.
So I don't know, I feel like I've earned the right to feel to like get a payout from playing this new one that has like an end game like assembling of the heroes. But yeah, I'm in on this one, right? Like I'm part of that Ouroboros that you described before. I'll get in there. It's eating its own tail. I'll just insert myself in. Hope for the best.
Get gobbled up.
Get gobbled up. But yeah, I mean, that's very interesting. Like that, how they're trying to advertise.
Yeah, it just feels to me like for somebody in my position that like they just don't know how to market this game.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. Mark, I've been playing Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion on the Switch. I picked it up on the Switch so I could play it while traveling. And I had never played Crisis Core before. It was a game that I was like intensely aware of. I really all of the Final Fantasy VII spin-off things like held a place of curiosity for me. But we're released in such like strange places and ways that like outside of Advent Children, the just CG movie, I didn't really engage with any of them when they originally came out. So all I really knew about Crisis Core was that it's basically the story of Zack, who is one of Cloud's early friends in Soldier, and it takes place before the events of the game. Includes Sephiroth in a big way. And then I won't say too much more just to avoid spoilers for Final Fantasy VII. But it is shocking to me how much of the DNA of Final Fantasy VII Remake comes from Crisis Core.
That's so interesting.
That like the sort of linear nature of the missions that you're going on. Final Fantasy VII Remake, does them all in like discrete chapters. And like so does this game, calls them chapters. And I know a lot of like the UI has been updated to sort of reflect what Final Fantasy VII Remake looks like, but I mean, like it is amazing to me. It feels like all Remake was taking the Crisis Core aesthetic with brand new graphics and remaking Final Fantasy VII.
That's kind of cool. Can you imagine going back in time and telling somebody who's playing Crisis Core on the PSP to be like, "Oh, this is what the Final Fantasy VII.
This is what the new one's going to be like.
When it finally happens, it's going to be like."
And obviously there are like differences here and there, but like it is remarkable how much it's like that. And there are also these like missions that you can take on as you're playing the game. I'm still pretty early. I've maybe played like 2 or 3 hours. But there are these missions that you can take on that are like VR missions that are mostly just combat experiences that you can go through to try and earn upgrades and new materia, which are the things that let you cast spells and stuff like that. And I love it because it's just the game is so like mainline just the combat anyway, like combat with like little bits of story. Like there's not really exploration in this game or like you do mess with your own loadout, but like it's not. It doesn't feel like an RPG really. Um, but I'm sort of loving it. Like, just give me this like satisfying combat where I'm waiting for like the right time to cast my spells and like use my magic and use limit breaks and all this kind of stuff. It just feels so good that I just want them to keep feeding new combat scenarios to me and just keep playing it. Like, I love it.
That's fun. I feel like, we sometimes talk about when we play Sega Genesis games or just like new indie games that feel like lost 16-bit RPGs that we love so much as a kid.
Yeah.
I just imagine that for someone who loves Final Fantasy VII as much as you do, and having this whole like new Final Fantasy kind of like side story to explore, just seems really cool, like a fun experience.
It very much is, although it doesn't feel like sometimes when we're playing Sega Genesis games, I feel like I'm experiencing an alternate history or like imagining an alternate history where like these were the games that became successful and we're playing now we all look back fondly at Altered Beast 64 or whatever. But like this just feels new to me. And like some of the control is like a little inelegant. And I guess really that's it. That's really my only complaint is that sometimes I'm like trying to position myself in front of a treasure chest and it's not as easy as I want it to be. But otherwise it feels like a brand new game. So yeah, I'm thrilled with it. And I'm having a fun time playing it on the Switch. All right, Mark, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
Last week, 4 new games came out for Sega Genesis, Nintendo Switch Online. On December 15th, Alien Storm, Columns, Golden Axe 2, and Virtua Fighter 2 all released.
Important to note here that this is the Sega Genesis version of Virtua Fighter 2, which I have to say, I didn't realize a Sega Genesis version of Virtua Fighter 2 ever came out.
Yeah, what does that look like?
Bad. It looks bad. And not bad in a Virtua Fighter kind of way. Because Virtua Fighter really leans into the low poly look, right? Like you can count the polygons on the characters' heads, and it's so charming in that way. And the Genesis version uses like big sprites that don't look very good. I messed around with it for a little bit over the weekend. And it's kind of a mess, Mark. It's kind of a mess of a game. I also played a little bit of Alien Storm, which is like a brawler where you play as a couple different characters, and they have. I was playing as this guy with like a cattle prod kind of, and you can't jump, and his attacks like drain his energy. So like your energy can go away and then you're just like swinging the cattle prod instead of like shooting electricity from it. And he has another attack that like calls in an airstrike and just like nukes everyone on the screen. But that also costs energy. So I was like really early in every level, just like running out of all my resources, and found it to be not fun. But I would like to try Golden Axe 2 with you.
Yes, I mean when we played the original Golden Axe for Sega Genesis holidays, I can't remember what we called it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Like
either.
for 2 weeks at the end of the year. My memory is that we ended up having fun with Golden Axe, but I can't remember if it was just because
it was an uphill battle, but we did.
Yeah.
Well, because if you recall, like we played it and we were like, okay, this is sort of fun, and then we like got frustrated, and we were like, this sucks. But then we're like, okay, well, let's try again, and it was. Look, this shouldn't be a surprise. This is how video games work. But as we learned more about the
right,
game,
yeah, exactly.
we were like, oh, we're getting better at it now. We can actually get further in it. But honestly, outside of a handful of like really good brawlers, I would say that is not the case for brawlers, right? Like either you can muscle your way through them or you can't. And the original Golden Axe, like we got pretty far.
Yeah, we did get better. It was, and we ended up having a lot of fun, is my memory. So yeah, it would be fun to play Golden Axe 2 for sure.
Don't go back to see what we actually said about it, because maybe we didn't like it at the time.
Otherwise, not much else coming out this week
that we know of. Can I posit? Can I just pose a question?
Please.
Sports Story.
Oh my gosh, you're right. That's supposed to come out this month.
Yeah, and as far as days in this month go, we're running out.
Yeah.
Where you at, Sports Story?
Oh yeah. That would be kind of funny if
It just didn't
come out
during this window.
I totally forgot. I wonder if it'll be. Yeah, you're right. So maybe any day now. We're the sword of Sports Story is hanging over our head.
The sport of Damocles. How about
That's
that?
right. That's
there
good.
we go.
That's
we
very
got there.
good.
We got there. All right, Mark. Let's close out the new releases. Which brings us to a regular segment on our show. It is time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, today we are going to be playing, we've been doing some holiday stuff. We are going to play the box office game with holiday movies. So I have a list of the top 36 highest grossing holiday movies of all time. I think we'll start at number 1.
Okay.
I'll tell you the year it came out and its gross.
Okay.
And then you can ask me like questions about it to try and like narrow in what it is, and we can go as far through this list as we can before time runs out.
Okay, great.
And any question you want to ask, like, you know, it's I think it's all within reason, right?
Sounds good.
Okay, so number 1, highest grossing Christmas film of all time came out in the year 2018, and its gross is 511 million.
2018.
2018
million.
Yeah.
And it's a holiday movie.
It's a holiday movie.
Is it like explicitly holiday?
Yes, it is.
Oh man. Does it star The Rock?
It does not star The Rock. No.
Okay. Is it based on a book?
It is based on a book.
Is it based on is it a children's book?
Yeah.
Is it a picture book?
Yes. I'm going to say yes to picture book.
Okay. Is it a Dr. Seuss book?
Yes.
2018. What Dr. Seuss movie came out?
It's the highest grossing holiday film of all time.
Is this worldwide box office or domestic? Okay, I'm going to guess that it's the Grinch animated movie starring Benedict Cumberbatch.
It is, yes.
And so these must be worldwide box office numbers then, because there's no way that in the U.S. alone that movie made like $500 million.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. No, $500 million would be an awful lot. Okay, number 2 comes out 1990.
Okay.
468 million.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, 476. Is that what I said?
No,
okay.
I don't think so. Home Alone.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 3 comes out 1992.
Home Alone 2.
Yes,
Lost in New York.
That's right. And it's 358 million. So made like 120 million less than the original. All right. Number 4 comes out in the year 2000.
Okay, this is Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
That's
Jim
right.
Carrey.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So amazing that the top 4 are Grinch, Home Alone, Grinch. Number 5, highest grossing holiday movie of all time, comes out in 2009, makes $325 million.
Okay, is this another Jim Carrey movie?
It is another Jim Carrey movie.
Is it also based on a children's like book series?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think you're jumping the gun and moving on to the next one, which is not Jim Carrey, but not a children's book series, but based on a book.
Okay, so is it
or a play, a book and a play?
Okay, this can't be true, but is it like that stuff like Mocap Christmas Carol?
It's the Mocap Christmas Carol.
Oh my
yes.
Gosh.
Yep. 2009. Number 5, highest grossing movie, Christmas movie of all time. Let's go on to number 6 because we got the time. Comes out in 2004.
Polar Express.
That's right. And I guess we'll never know the rest. All right. We were actually let's talk through the rest of the top 10.
Okay.
Number 7 is Love Actually. Number 8 is Elf. Number 9 is The Holiday. And number 10 is The Santa Claus.
Wow, that's a really strong showing for The Holiday.
It's a very strong showing for The Holiday.
So did that mean it made like $200 million?
Yeah, Holiday made $205 million.
Gosh.
And the Santa Claus made $190 million. It's crazy that the oldest of these movies is Home Alone.
Wow.
That like none of the movies that we think of as like Christmas classics fall onto this list. All right, we were accompanied today by the EBU Your Radio Orchestra. Mark, let's get into the news.
We now have an opening date for Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Hollywood. It's February 17th, 2023, so not very far away at all at this point.
Mark, it's so close.
It is very close.
We're almost there.
Yeah, I feel like it, maybe not opening day, but we should try to get there in February.
I mean, but why not opening day?
Do you know what? That's such a good point.
Because, okay, first of all, if the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists. But also, Galaxy's Edge, when it opened up, like, kind of a ghost town, right?
Yeah, that's true. But they did such a, like...
They warned us.
All they talked about was, like, how busy it was going to be. It's going to be this huge success.
Don't come.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And so they kind of scared everybody into not going.
Right.
But this one, I don't know what the case is going to be. But anyways, you're right. Why not go the first day?
Let's go the first day.
I wonder if we should do some sort of we'll have to think about this. But I guess listeners, let us know if you'd be interested in some sort of meetup.
Yeah, we would totally do that. And I think it would be fun to and so maybe that is a better argument for doing it on, because that's a Friday. So maybe that's a better argument for going on like Saturday or Sunday. I mean, honestly, I could see going twice in the first weekend.
But yeah, let us know if you're interested, and maybe we can plan something on our Discord, get people together. But yeah, February 17th, 2023, not that far away. They officially announced what it was going to include. If you know or have followed any of the coverage on the Universal Studios Japan Super Nintendo World, no real surprises here. So Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge is kind of like the big e-ticket. They offer power-up bands that you can buy, and then you can use them to interact with things in the world and, collect points. Toadstool Cafe, which I think I want to die at Toadstool Cafe. Like,
it looks pretty cute.
It's super cute. Can't wait to meet that chunky toad. And then the One-Up Factory Memorabilia Shop. One thing, again, if you have been paying attention to coverage out of Japan, that you do not see here is the Yoshi kind of like dark ride that they have there. Not coming to Hollywood, but presumably coming to Universal Studios Orlando when Super Nintendo World opens there at their new Epic Universe theme park. But still exciting to check this out.
And like just exciting for there to be like another thing at Universal. I always feel like I enjoy my time when I go to Universal Studios, but I feel like it's always missing like one more like decent attraction.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
And I'm hoping that this Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge like fills that role, especially like because it's in the lower level of the park, right? And like down in the lower level of the park, I love that Jurassic World ride, and like the Mummy is a lot of fun. But then I'm like, what now? And if this is also down there, that's one more thing we can do.
Yeah, I'm also, they haven't announced anything, and I'm kind of disappointed because maybe it's making me think that it's not happening. But I would love for them to open an official Nintendo store at City Walk in Hollywood.
Yeah, why not? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, probably because the rent is outrageous.
But like, they must begin to, I feel like they'd have to get a sweetheart deal.
Yeah. You would think so.
They have such a close connection. Plus, it's like, it's Nintendo. They'd be fine. They can afford it.
Yeah,
there's a hot topic
That's
there.
a great point. You're right. You're right. What's a bigger company, Nintendo or Bubblegum Shrimp Factory? Like shrimp Factory? That can't be right. Shrimp Company. Okay,
Company.
Right.
But
Cheesecake Factory.
But I'm super excited for this, and it'd be fun to meet up with listeners and all experience this together.
Yeah.
Square Enix announced this weekend that the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters are in fact coming to consoles.
After that leak of the ESRB, I guess it's not even a leak, just the ESRB rated them for Switch and PlayStation 4 last week. Now we have confirmation.
Yep, they're coming in spring 2023. The pricing seems consistent with the Steam and mobile versions. So 12 for 1 and 2, and then 18 for 3 through 6. And so a physical version of all 6 games was up for pre-order on Square Enix's site for like $75, $74.99. But last I saw was sold out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
However, if you're really interested, you have a good note in here, Patrick, which $75 seems high, but individually you're paying like $96.
Right. If you were to buy each of the games in the remaster, it would cost you $96. $75 is more than you would ever pay for a Switch game under any other circumstance. But the fact that it is 6 individual games, you are saving like $20, which like, you know, that's one of the fourth or 3 through 6. So like, you know, I can sort of justify, like, because I'm not interested really in playing 2, and I could get by without playing 3, but at that point, like, I really want to buy 1, 4, 5, 6, and so that's you know what, it's like almost the $70 anyway. So I'm kind of like, I should just get the whole package, right?
Yeah. Although if you haven't
not
already
be able
bought
to,
it, I
yeah.
don't know that you're gonna be able to. However, you may be able to get.
No, this is also, you can't order this anymore either.
Oh, really? This
Yeah.
sold out?
Yeah.
There was a 35th anniversary edition, which didn't sell out as fast, for $260. That included the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 collection game package with lenticular sleeve, a Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster vinyl soundtrack. I think it's like two.
It's two. What do they call them? Like graphic discs,
Uh-huh.
or where there are images printed right on them.
Oh, got it. An art book, a pixel figure set. So it's a tidy little package, but costs a pretty penny.
I mean, like truly a pretty penny. Like that is so much money. When I saw that this thing was available, I got so excited. I was like, this is gonna be a dumb thing that I hide from Sarah after I buy it, because I'll be embarrassed that I spent money on it. And as I'm like loading it up, and like you have to click through all these things, be like, I want for the Switch and I want this version of it. And I was like, okay, as long as it's under, I said to myself, $180. I was like, there's no way it's going to be over $180. That's so much money, knowing full well that I would probably budge all the way up to 200, you know? And then it's just 260.
Yeah.
And like, I couldn't justify it. Like, there's no justifying it. I would only have to say, like, I'm paying too much money because I want it.
Right.
And so I let it go. Did not pre-order.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, like, the stuff that's in it is cool, but that is a lot of money.
I mean, also, I don't have a record player.
Right.
So like, there's that part of it that doesn't make any sense. And then like, so have you looked at the pixel figures? There
No,
are
I didn't look
8 of
that
them.
closely.
They're pretty cool. You know, there's a black mage, a white mage, Cecil from Final Fantasy IV, Terra from Final Fantasy VI, and then 4 others in there from across the series, and they look really neat, and they're really like nostalgic and cool and all. But it's just like, where am I gonna put? There's 8 of them. Like, where I don't have like space to like display 8 more things.
Yeah, you could use them as like a Final Fantasy like menorah. Just
Yeah,
add one
I suppose you
to the
could.
display. So that was crazy expensive. It's kind of a bummer that all like the physical versions are sold out. But I have to say, I am glad that this is official and that these games are coming to console.
Yeah, I would like to do something Final Fantasy next year. I know that any role-playing game and any JRPG is like a huge time investment, but I want you and I to do something Final Fantasy next year.
That'd be fun.
I'm planting my flag right now. Mentally prepare yourself for, we're gonna play a Final Fantasy game next year.
Could it be Chocobo Racing?
Nope.
Okay. Well, glad I asked.
It could also be Chocobo Racing.
We also got release dates for the Sephiroth and Kazuya.
Sorry, I want to go back to the.
Oh yeah, of course.
So there's one more piece here about the font size in the Pixel remasters. There in the North American, I guess probably European too, anywhere that has non-Japanese like language tracks on them for the Steam and mobile versions, the font is this atrocious like obscenely narrow text that is just really hard to read, especially on smaller screens. And so the hope and the sort of rumor was that they were going to be addressing that with a different font for console releases. But all of the screenshots that included text accompanying this announcement that they were coming to consoles included the old font. But those screenshots were short-lived. They have been scrubbed from the internet. They no longer exist, which sort of lends credence to this idea that it's reported from a website called RPG Site that there was going to be a new font for the Switch and PS4 ports. Is any of that confirmed? Is any of that real? No, it is not confirmed. Is it real? We don't know yet. But the fact that all of the marketing material has since removed the old screenshots from the Steam and mobile version sort of suggests that there is going to be at least that change to the console versions.
Oh, interesting. Well, that'd be nice. That'd be great.
I'm anxious to see it because like a lot. I just want to see like the old like lumpy like pixel heavy 16-bit text on there, but I'm certain it's going to be something just a little bit different from what I want. But as long as it's not this like hyper narrow. Have you seen those screenshots of like of this font?
Yeah, I remember when the Pixel Remasters first released.
Yeah, it's brutal.
We also got release dates for the Sephiroth and Kazuya Super Smash Bros. Amiibo, and they'll be releasing on January 13th, 2023, and each cost $15.99, and you can pre-order them now. As part of this announcement, we also got confirmation that the Pyra and Mithra Amiibo are also slated for release in 2023, though no release date, like specific release date, was given.
Right. And also no mention of like other amiibo past these guys, which at this point is that just Sora?
That was going to be my question. I don't think Sora was ever
Sora was never confirmed.
One was never announced, and so at this point, I'm just assuming is not happening. So yeah, I think Pyra and Mithra might be it.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. We also got like a good look at all of these amiibo. They're looking good. The designs on these things are solid as always.
Yeah. Have you already pre-ordered the Sephiroth one? Do you think you will get it?
I have not. I don't have Cloud.
Oh.
Which is a failing on my part. I should have Cloud. But so yeah, maybe I should. Do I not have Cloud? I say that and then it sounds insane to me. Why would I not have Cloud?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you.
Mark, thank you.
Speaking of release dates, we also got them for Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden. Both are going to be available on January 19th, 2023. And these ports include high-res graphics, difficulty settings at the start, which previously have only been available on second playthroughs. We'll have quick save, which is pretty cool, and are only $20 each.
All of this seems like good news and like surprisingly good news. I can't believe these games are coming out so soon.
Yeah.
January 19th is not that long after Persona 5 Royal came out, and then these are both being released at the same time. I sort of thought they would like kind of space them out through like the rest of the year, and not release both these games, in one go. And $20 is a decent price for a 100-hour RPG.
Mario Kart 7, which released on the Nintendo 3DS in December 2011, got a new update last week. Version 1.2 is available now, and it seems like the update is mostly addressing a security exploit that was present in the original release, which probably is the only reason that it's getting an update so close to people just not being able to buy it new.
Right. I mean,
March of next year.
It is of course crazy to be like, this game is getting an update. It's been out for 11 years on a platform that is no longer really supported by Nintendo. But like even crazier when you consider that you can't buy the game digitally after March, that the eShop is going to get shut down.
And even now, you kind of have to jump through some hoops.
You got to jump
do it
through
in the
some
first
hoops
place.
now. Yeah. But yeah, I do like that it was being pushed out and it, like no one really knew what it was. So there was a brief moment where it was like, what? Why are they updating this game?
Mario Kart 7 Booster Course Pass.
Yeah, that's right. It's getting 48 new tracks. I looked it up, and yeah, the Sora amiibo would be the last one of the characters not accounted for in the Ultimate Fighters Pass Volume 2.
Crazy, because it feels feasible that these Smash Brothers amiibo are going to be it. Occasionally, we got a Metroid Dread one,
Right.
and so
And Splatoon 3.
and Splatoon 3, so it doesn't seem impossible. But on the other hand, it seems completely reasonable to me that like this might just end up being it.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways where the amiibo are concerned is they're just like fulfilling their obligations. Like you have to finish the Smash set, minus maybe Sora.
Mm-hmm.
And like Splatoon has always done it. And it's always been like the set of 3, and then for the idols eventually. But yeah, I wonder if they release like a new IP or like something like that has not had amiibo before, are they even going to bother making amiibo for it?
The one thing I think of is when I think it was the last like trailer direct for the Super Mario Brothers movie, and Miyamoto made a point to being like, "Isn't Donkey Kong so cute now? We kind of redesigned him."
Yeah.
And if that new Donkey Kong game does exist, that one that's been rumored for a few years,
Yeah.
and it's using this redesigned Donkey Kong, maybe we would get an amiibo for that with like this new Donkey Kong design.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Mario movie amiibo.
yeah,
Like,
why not?
why not? Why not bring these things out? But like, do you think we're gonna get a like Tears of the Kingdom like Link amiibo?
Oh man, no, I don't.
Wow.
I don't think we'll get amiibo for Tears of the Kingdom.
Did we get one for Link Between Worlds? I don't think we did.
No, I don't think we did either.
It's weird.
Although that would have been cute.
It would have been cute. Who would you want?
I would want the little like vendor rabbit looking dude.
Ravio?
Ravio.
I would like Ravio, and is it Hilda,
Yes,
the Zelda
Hilda.
analog?
Uh-huh.
I would like a pair of those two. I
That'd
think
be
that would
fun.
be great. I brought us like backwards in time too.
Hey, never enough amiibo talk. And finally, Nintendo has announced a new Splatoon 3 Splatfest. As always, it's a 3-way contest between spicy, sweet, and sour. And the event will run from Friday, January 6th at 4 p.m. Pacific time to Sunday, January 8th at 4 p.m. Pacific time.
Mark, how you feeling about that theme?
Ooh, I like it. I'm torn because I like all 3 of these things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're tastes.
Uh-huh. But
I do love that we are not including bitter.
no.
Bitter not part of this.
Uh-uh.
Also, umami, hit the bricks.
Don't care for it, never have.
You're not part of this. Spicy, sweet, and sour. That's all we're doing.
Uh-huh. I'm leaning towards spicy, but my order of preference would
Yes.
be, I think, spicy, sour, then sweet.
I think that spicy is going to be the favorite. I'm putting my
That
chips.
appears to be the case just from online chatter.
Yeah. Yes. But also like that feels intuitive, right? That like there's something about spice. Like people are proud of their ability to like handle spicy stuff. And like I don't know, it just feels like in line with like I'm gonna say gaming culture, and I don't mean that like derogatorily or even in the way that like it can be used. But just like gaming culture in general is like yeah, spicy, like that's a fun thing that we can all like. There's a competitive like angle to it. So I think Splatoon players are going to flock to spicy, and then I think sweet is going to be a runner up of like everyone likes sweets. We all like to be cute and be like, ooh, I like a sweet. And then sour, I think sour is going to get like 8% of players.
And so do you think that, because sometimes in Splatoon 2, I feel like the less popular of the two choices
Oh, yeah, interesting.
usually ended up winning. But
I think it's going to be
Splatoon 3,
such
it
a
doesn't
landslide.
seem like, yeah.
Yeah, well, first of all, there's something about the 3-way split that like just like throws everything off. But yeah, I understand the logic of spicy. I like spicy food too. I've got a real mean sweet tooth, which whenever I can make like an active decision to not engage with it, I'll do that. So I'm not gonna go sweets. I think I'm going sour.
Going sour?
I think I'm going sour.
It's a good choice. Sour Patch Kids.
Sure, kind of sweet too.
A little bit of both.
Yep, a little bit of both. What do you think about the timing of this thing? Like first full weekend in January, kick it off the new year.
Yeah, exactly. Give people a little bit of time to enjoy the holidays and then get into Splatoon 3. It's actually great timing for people who get Switches over Christmas or, get Splatoon 3 gifted to them.
Yeah,
And
that's a great point.
they have a Splatfest to look forward to right after the new year.
All right. Well, let us know if you're going to be playing in this thing and what team you're going to be joining. Either Team Spicy, which is Mark's team, or Team Sour, which is my team, which is going to lose because there's only going to be like 13 of us playing it. But all right, Mark, let's get out of the news. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is MKE Mitchell, and the show is at NinCart Society. We also have a Discord. You should join the Discord and have fun conversations with everyone in there about Nintendo. Just send us an email or tweet at us, and we will let you in. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. And Mark, I will pause here because Brian Tio, the man behind 8-Bit Betty, just released his lo-fi Christmas songs as a record that you can purchase on Bandcamp. It is a great record that I absolutely love. I bought a copy of it, and I have a plan to send it out to basically everyone I know. But yeah, go in and check it out. We've used Brian's music on here for a very long time, so go and support him there. Bandcamp.com. Brian Tio. Search for Brian Tio, and it'll be in there. But you can get more of his music by doing what I just said right there, or by listening right now. For my co-host Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying thank you for listening.